Casual Magic has been brought to you by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can get cool stuff. Use the code CASUAL for 5% off your order. We're also sponsored by QuiverTime, makers of the Quiver and Bolt deck cases and other fine card-holding accessories. Use the code CASUAL on their site for 10% off your purchase. And by Architect, a deck hosting website that doesn't sell anything, but they like me and I like them, so kindly use them for all your deck list needs. Now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to Casual Magic, the show where we talk about the fun side of Magic the Gathering. My name is Shivam, Bhatt, and Casual Magic is brought to you by Cool Stuff Inc., Architect, and QuiverTime. Today I have my very dear friend, Geoffrey Palmer, aka LivingCardsMTG, who is as of most recently, been putting Paddington into a lot of, putting Magic cards into a lot of Paddington shots and then into general movie shots. But before that, you were doing graphic design and stuff for Channel Fireball, and you've just been in and around the community for a long time. Also, we've just been friends for very many years. How's it going, man? It's good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. I'm so glad we finally got to do this. We've been kind of circling it for a while, and I'm really excited.
You're another one of those people who I've been for 3 years. I'm I should have you on my show.
Yes.
Hey, we should have you on my show. And then we finally met up in Minneapolis, which was
let's do it. Yeah,
amazing.
And yes, it was. Oh my God, wasn't that the best experience? Yeah.
I've been to a lot of Magic events now. I've been to a lot of Magic events in a lot of different places. And there have been a lot of times I've come home and been like, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Minneapolis, though. Minneapolis was literally...
It was different.
It felt different.
Yeah.
And it also... Okay, so if I'm going to just kind of lay this out here, imagine first off, there was that weird Channel Fireball thing they did in between COVID and Omicron. Between the first one and the second one, November of 21 or something like that.
They snuck one in, sure.
Yeah, in Vegas. It wasn't even Command Fest. It wasn't a thing. It was just Magic, Las Vegas, we're here, everybody's here. And that was that one had this Survivor feel. Oh my God, we made it through the plague. Everybody feels good. We're all excited and happy, but it was weird. The energy was really weird because we were all just coming out of hibernation.
Yeah.
And then we had the Command Fest, which started to feel more normal and human.
Yep.
We're starting to meet up. We're starting to hang out. Philadelphia, though. Philadelphia Magic Con. I went there. I missed Vegas 30. And Vegas 30, from what I heard, it's probably good that I missed it because it sounded like it was real cramp and gross.
Yeah, I didn't go to either.
But Philly, when I was in Philly, it had hype energy. Everybody was super tight.
Yeah.
The Magic, the Pro Tour is back. There's this whole con experience, all the cosplayers, everything. It was rad, but it was also all the rooms were hella far apart from each other.
Yeah.
And there was a weird kind of how when your kids are overtired and they're just bouncing around everywhere. And
ever?
Yeah.
I have a 1 and 3-year-old, so that's my life.
Know exactly what it's like.
That's my life. Yeah.
I call that it's like a video game. It's like your Street Fighter bar. You're charging it up, and suddenly the bar starts just blinking, and you're like, "Uh-oh, bad things are gonna happen."
Oh God!
It felt like everybody was on overtired, just hyper-pitch mode. We were just all over, bouncing all over the place. There was weird energy. It was everybody's excited, but it was also just bizarre.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah. Then now Minneapolis, it feels like we got that out of our system.
Yeah,
everybody's calm. The building was big. There was space. You could
huge.
But simultaneously, while it was big, it was also close.
Yeah,
so all the rooms were next to each other. So everybody had elbow room, breathing room. There was water everywhere. There were snacks.
Free play was awesome.
The free play was amazing. Sitting next to the Pro Tour was a free play, and then the fact that the command zone wasn't a zone; it was just a giant chunk of the room.
Go play. Yeah. I love that.
Nobody cared. They stopped charging you for command zone. They're like, you're here.
So good.
Just do what you want to do. Go where you want to go. And I'm like, thank you. They figured it out.
They listened. Yeah. Which I was so surprised. I mean, it was amazing that they made that change in one event. Because usually, you think that has to go up and down the change.
It takes them 3 years to do something, right?
Yeah. I was blown away. My life has changed tremendously from when I was I used to go to a Magic event every month. I worked before I officially worked for Channel Fireball.
Back off.
I worked on the coverage team in 2017 or so, And so I was flying out once a month to go and do graphics and
Mm.
I would go in and we would do the deck lists and I would make graphics in top eight and just kind of put the whole show together.
I was trying
And
to remember where I'd seen you before because I knew we had met
yeah,
in person, and it must have been at like a GP or
yep,
something.
yep, just GPs, just kind of fly in, really crazy 2 days and then fly back.
Mm.
And that was all pre-kids. So, I just had this energy of like, let's stay up late, let's play Magic, let's do
Oh
all this
yeah,
kind of stuff. Now I had one day to go to MTG or Magic Con Minneapolis, and I was happy I got that. But like I felt that pull. Like I was like, oh my god, I did not want to leave. I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm pushing 40, and I was like feeling like a little kid. Like I just want to stay with my friends. Because right as I left, I ran into Sam Ristic Studies and
Bless his heart.
and Vorthos Mike, really close friends. I actually met Sam in 2017 before he was so famous and he couldn't walk around and had
Yeah,
his
back when he
everything.
could just be our friend Sam
Yeah,
and not like,
yeah.
oh my
Like,
god, his
oh,
wristing studies.
yeah. And he was like, "We're going to a chaos draft. Let's go." It's like we're going to the quad. We're streaking, and I'm like, I can't. I have to go
Kids.
home to my wife and children. But they get it. They're like, big hug. You do you. And so it's like, okay, that's okay. Like life evolves, and I'm very happy. And I was happy then, and I'm happy now. So it's like it just has
Well, I
changed.
mean,
So
we grow up, right? Like
yeah,
the thing is, for me,
got to
this
do
time
it.
around, this event for one thing, my son is now 9,
Yeah,
so it's old enough for me to be able to take a weekend away without
you can
feeling
go.
like I'm missing
Yes.
something, and I can just call him at night and it's fine. And like, mind you, my wife's like, "Look, you left on Thursday, you're coming back on Sunday. That means
Yeah,
you don't get to stay through Monday. I'm
I
not a
love
single
it.
mom. That's not how this works."
I
And I'm
got
like,
yeah, I'm leaving. I had to leave her with the 1 and the 3-year-old. So, I got her
"Yeah,
a hotel room for this weekend, and she's
yeah.
having a day, a night off even. Says,
Look,
yeah,
man,
it's a
these are the
little.
compromises we have to make
You
as
got to
adults, right?"
barter. It was a Khajiit has deals if you have wares. I'm not. You're not just going Buckaroo. Let's talk about what's in it for me.
Well, it's just like
She's a great partner, but
you've gotta be
you want
fair,
balance. You
right?
got to be
Like,
fair. Yeah,
it's
you
like,
really do.
look, both of us were in lockdown, right? Like, both
I
of us have
know.
been, like, unable to go out and hang out with our friends.
Yep.
That means that once in a while, like, I mean, I realize this is my career, this is the thing that I do, that I have to
Mm-hmm.
go to these events and hook up with people and do, like, set up interviews or set up my podcast
Yeah.
and meet sponsor, whatever it is, the things. But the trade-off is that means I let to get I
Yeah.
get to let her go off and, like, have a spa day or just play board game like,
Love it.
when I got home on Sunday or whatever, she's like,
Uh-huh.
"Great, it's, like, 4 o'clock. I picked you up, you came home early, it's great. You and kiddo can sit and go play Pokemon. I am locking the office door and playing board games with my girlfriends for the next
Yeah.
3 hours.
Goodbye.
Peace." And
I
I'm like,
love that.
"Fair,
I love that.
reasonable, and fair." Like, I'm like, "Look, man, this doesn't work unless we've got a trade-off, unless we've got a balanced
I
relationship,
know.
right?"
I know. So cool.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Finding a
feel
good
very lucky
partner.
that my wife is understanding of this level of nonsense.
I know. Yeah. This is crazy. So you're doing this all pretty much full time now with you?
Well, I mean, until I get another real job, yeah, this is
Yeah.
I've got 3
Love it.
podcasts, and I've started doing video on this one. Obviously, hello video, hello YouTube
So
friends.
good. Yeah, I saw it. I had to look you up because I had to look this one up specifically because I saw you interviewed Lucas Kuntz. Um
Yeah,
and I
2
have
weeks ago.
a little story there for you. Lucas Kuntz grew up in Jefferson City, Missouri. Guess who else grew up in Jefferson City, Missouri?
Jefferson?
Geoffrey Palmer grew up in
Oh,
Jefferson City. He is just a few years older than me, and we were in the same Boy Scout troop together. How is
that's
that for a
really
cosmic
cool.
coincidence? Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't know me from Adam now. If I told him, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, maybe." But I mean, because he was, I think I joined when he was maybe 15, 16. So we had about 2 years of overlap because he got Eagle Scout around the time he was 17 or so, and then was done with
Sure.
Boy Scouts and went off to live his life. Um,
I
but
never
I
made
had
Eagle.
no, me neither.
I was in Boy Scouts for a long time.
I went
The
to
most I got
Star,
out
I
of it was
think.
learning how to do knots.
Yeah.
I can
Mm-hmm.
tie anything into a knot now.
That's awesome. I remember the square knot. I remember, you got to go. Don't
Yeah.
overlap them. Don't do the granny. But yeah, no, he was our troop leader then. I just remember he had tremendous leadership right out of the gate. So
Yeah,
fond
like
memories of him. And then I just didn't know what he was doing with his life until he popped back up. I still have friends in Missouri, and we're all like, Lucas is running for Senate. Like, let's go.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I
You know
don't
what,
know if
man?
he's got a chance, but I hope. I hope.
We have to hope because Josh Howley is a complete like
Oh,
toilet paper stain,
we hope.
and
Yeah,
like as a Californian, I would love to just not have him in Senate.
no, I
Like,
know,
just
but
hands down, he can go somewhere do something,
from being from
not in Senate.
Missouri, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and talk a bunch of nonsense about Missouri. I did grow up there. I had a wonderful childhood. It's got a lot of problems politically, and a lot of
It's a
old ways of
different place.
thinking. Yeah, that will not change quickly. This generation, we'll see. Next generation, I think everything's going to be different. So
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
hopeful. Hey, you got to fight the fight, though. It has to start
you
somewhere.
you can't just you can't just accept, right?
Yeah.
You can't just sit down and say
Mm-mm.
like, "Hey, you know what? They've got the hammer lock on it, so we're just gonna let them have it." That's
Yep.
like, come on, man! It's the Reed Duke lesson of magic. You don't concede until you're dead.
Don't
Like
concede. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if you've got one life in your, if you've still got one life and you've still got one card in hand, you can find a way
Mm-hmm.
to win. Just like
Mm-hmm.
play to your outs, right? Like it's
It's
there's a lot
possible.
of things Magic has taught us, and number one is make them have it.
Yeah, make him have it. I love that. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It would be a titanic shift, but he's such a good guy anyway, and I'm
and I
hopeful.
think like there's a point where even normal citizens just get tired of
I
performative
know.
nonsense, or
I
at least
know.
that's my wishful thinking.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Are you? Where are
Yeah.
you these days?
So I'm in Minneapolis. That's
Oh,
why I
so
was
that's why
able to
you were able
come.
to pop away for
Yeah,
a day.
exactly. Yep. So I'm local. I was sitting on my porch reading the tweets of everybody, on Friday, like I want to go.
And
But
you're like,
yeah,
babe, can I go downtown for a day, please?
no, it was really good. Yeah, got to meet up on Thursday with Mike and Sam and some other people, and then do the Saturday thing. So for what it was, I felt like I had a lovely con experience and so much fun during the day. You probably saw
And
my
just
recap, and yeah,
yeah, like, but just like look at that building, right? Like it was
oh,
so cool.
I had never
It
been
was
in
like,
there. I've lived here for 10 years now. I had never been in there, and it
well,
was
you don't have a
insane.
reason to, right? Like,
No, yeah, what am I
but like,
going in
I
there
mean,
for?
think about it. So for those of you who didn't get to go, on the far right room, there was a pro tour on the backside, and the front side was all free
Yep.
play, and then like the creator area, which was super cool. Props to the WotC team, by the way. Their new creative influencer manager team is like incredibly generous, helpful, very, very cool people.
Yeah.
I had nothing but good experiences with them. And then they had one room over to the left, which is the main hall, which is now 3 rooms wide. And
Mm-hmm.
in the main area there was a big stage which had the main panels. Then there was like all the, artist stuff in the back. There was the booths with all the crap in the front, which we buy
Tons of
called magic
artists.
cards.
Yep.
All the magic cards and all the like products and nonsense. I got a really cool jacket, like that
Nice.
awesome. They had like a jacket that's like a Letterman jacket for Magic players, like
Oh,
93,
fun.
and it looked really cool. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't need a jacket, but I want this one, so I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, why
And I
not?
did, and it was sweet.
I'll have to send you a picture. I have a Magic jacket too that I got completely randomly. I worked on the team that put together the Magic Online Championships.
Hmm.
That was when I got to go to WotC. I don't remember what year that was, 18 or 19.
18,
And
20.
yeah, but we got to go out there and just it was light work, let's be honest. It was so
Yeah.
cool. We just ran it off the computer and had our commentators talk about it. But they were like, anybody who works on this gets a jacket. What's your jacket size? And I'm like, great. So now I have a
Those
jacket.
jackets are rad too.
Yeah,
Like they're
yeah.
really, really cool.
It's a little bit of swag, and I have a
Like I will say
WotC
this.
employee badge, that I had for the week for the
I'll say this
temporary.
for WotC staff, they get really, really cool like clothing that they don't
Mm-hmm.
share with the rest of us,
I
which is just like,
know.
I would pay you a lot of money to have
Darn
a
it.
rad jacket with the logo, like the D&D
I
logo or whatever on
know.
it.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, actually, we should talk about that, but I want to finish talking about Minneapolis first because it was
Yeah.
literally
It
like
was
I'm
so
recording
good.
like a day or 3 after coming back, so it's still super
Mm-hmm.
fresh in my head. Um, but the thing that was wild though, like for one thing, like the very back room of the hall was just like, the play area for events or whatever, which
Mm-hmm.
is fine. And I went there for Gavin's event and it was fine. All the judges are cool and I
Yeah.
love seeing all my judge friends. But really, the coolest thing about this thing was everybody was here because after the Command Fest had for the Command Fest for March of the Machines pre-release had it
Mm-hmm.
all at the four corners of the planet. Everybody's far, far away from each other. But this time, everybody you cared about was in one room. Like
So many people.
so many content creators and just colleagues of mine showed up.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how. Like it feels like there were even more here than in Philly. Minus like my dear friend Kessler who couldn't make it because his
Mm-hmm.
child got sick. And when you're like
Mm.
get sick, you are not leaving. You're not going to be
You're
like,
not.
"Hey,
No.
lady, I'll see you in a week." It's like no,
Nope.
no,
Nope.
some things you don't get to do. Um, but yeah, like I did a panel with Ben Baton and Gavin about
Uh-huh.
chaos crafting, which was awesome. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, dude, Minneapolis was great. The town was lovely, and I ate breakfast at the Hen House every day. And the last day,
Yes.
they were like, I walk in, the dude just got my orange juice right there, and I'm like, it's good to
Nice.
be predictable.
I know. I know. I had Hen House on Saturday when I went. That place is crazy good.
It's very, very good.
So tasty. Yeah.
Yeah,
I noticed I was sitting next to EK, your boy, and
yeah,
Chase, like at breakfast. I looked over and I was like, because they were having a magic related contest. And I'm like, "Are you Chase? Are you?" And yeah, hi, I'm Geoffrey. Just
yes.
meeting so many people.
Dude, the
Yeah.
wild thing was I was sitting at breakfast and I look up and there's a handful of judges across from me. I'm like, oh hey, cool judges. And I turn to my right and suddenly it's like, oh, it's Ben Stark. Okay. Okay, Hall of Famer. I guess we can
Ben
talk about
Stark
orange
was
juice.
there. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I didn't
He
even
was
see him.
like he had washed out of the pro tour that day. So he
Oh
was just
yeah,
having a later breakfast. And
there
I'm
you
just like,
go.
well, this is neat.
Yep. Yeah, I wish I had gotten to see more of the Pro Tour guys, but I did get to talk to them a little bit on that night because they all ended up at the Hilton for like LobbyCon,
Man,
and
that lobby was huge and we
they
filled
were
it.
yes, there were a lot of people just having a good time, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I went for to have a quiet drink with Mister BDM, who's an old friend.
Yeah, a quiet
Uh,
drink with BDM is
yeah,
not going to
he's quite the cocktailian master now. It's like his favorite thing. But we've done work together over the years, and we were like, yeah, let's just go
BDM
get a
is one of
drink.
my favorite people, man.
Turns out everybody that was where everybody was going, so it ended up being like, yay, get to talk to everybody.
At
So
Hobbs had a party at his house on Friday,
yes, I'm
and
sorry I
like there
missed
were
that.
90 or something content creators there, and I'm like, this is nutter butters.
Yeah.
But like I walk in and the first thing is BDM's like, aha, you're just in time for an eye of the beholder. I'm like, what's that? He's like, drink it. I'm like, rad. And I'm drinking this weird gin concoction that's like
I know.
glowing red. And I'm like, what in the
He started
God
going
bless
like,
you, man.
do they have he was like, I wonder if they have any lemon brine, and I'm like, what? I don't even know what lemon brine is. And he's
Yeah,
like,
what
oh
hotel
yeah,
is going to have lemon brine, my
come
dude?
on. It's like he was like sampling the pH. He's like, just a little too sweet and salty. You know,
Yeah,
he's
man,
working
you're
on
lucky that they have like well vodka or like
I know.
ethyl alcohol
It's
or
like
something. Right?
Brian, Brian, chill out, man. Oh my
Yeah, like
goodness,
bro, these guys are gonna give you rubbing alcohol and apple juice, and you're going to drink it, and that's what's going to happen.
it was so much fun. Oh my goodness,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
And I ran
Minneapolis.
into
Yeah.
Sam Eilenfeld, who is like former pro tour grinder and stuff,
Okay.
and he was Minneapolis local, and he was just like, "It is so weird that all of my random Magic friends are in
Yep.
my neighborhood," and I'm like,
Everybody.
"Yeah, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
wild one."
Sure enough. Sure
Like,
enough.
the ladies from Good Luck High Five were like, "Dude, I get to go home and sleep in my bed. I don't
I
understand." I'm like,
know.
"That's cheating."
Ah, Megan and Maria. I'm so
Oh
glad they're
yeah.
still doing their thing. Yeah.
Any Let's talk about
Anyway.
you, Jeff, because I didn't call
Okay.
you on to talk about our friends,
No,
although
it's
I
fine.
could because our friends are
You
great.
you can't well, I can't talk about me without talking about our friends because everything I've done, well, everything I used to do was for all of our
Yeah,
friends
like
who are
all of
now
our I mean,
famous content creators.
honestly, that's how we met even is because
Yeah.
like you used to just do stuff for people and then we just started talking on Twitter and hung out.
Yeah.
So let's go back like 40 steps or something. So
Sure.
when did you start playing Magic?
Yeah, so I started playing in like middle school, high school, around Mercadian Masks, Tempest. Um, my Rebels was like the first deck I ever built that I actually put some thought into. My girl Lynn Civi. Um, you know, my buddy eBay had just become a thing, and my buddy showed up with like an actual cohesive deck, and we're like, "What is this? Not just a
Your
pile? What?"
your
And he's
your
like,
buddy eBay.
no, my buddy who learned of eBay, yeah, my buddy eBay, had showed up with an actual deck with some thought behind it, rather than just all the cards that he liked. And
That transition
we
point from all the
uh,
cards I own to this is an actual deck.
yeah. So from there, I started playing more seriously, maintained a little bit of an interest. But I stopped for, a decade or more. I didn't play through college, didn't play through the start of my career, but I kind of kept up, with what was going on. If somebody would see something, and then my buddy said, "You got to watch, coverage." And I'm like, "What do you mean coverage?" And it's like back in the day coverage, because it was really rough. And he's like,
Yeah,
"No,
like
they're really, really trying to do coverage of the events." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he put on an SCG thing with Cedric and Pat Sully, and I was like, I can follow what's going on. This is really entertaining, and I just started watching a ton of coverage, and like that kind of rekindled my love for the game. So around 2015, KUNCE, Tarkir, that era, that's when I came back hard and started going to F&M, found the dear friends I've been friends with forever
I
now.
feel like that
And
span of time
yeah,
between like let's say 2012 and 2015 from like Ravnica from Innistrad and Ravnica forward,
yeah,
it was till about like cons feels like the real renaissance for when we all came
must have
back to
been.
Magic. when
Yeah.
when Magic was like at super peak, all the sets were
Mm-hmm.
flavorful and good, all the draft environments were amazing, like
Mm-hmm.
standard was thriving, content was thriving. I mean,
Standard
not content,
was
but like coverage
huge.
had taken off. Um,
Yes.
and
That was
it
the
like
golden era.
oh
It
yeah,
was wonderful. We didn't know how good we had it. You could flip on a legacy event, and just
any day of the
watch,
week.
and like just
Watch
watch
like
people talk
Autumn
about it.
or I mean, watch
Oh,
like
so good.
Feline Longmore play freaking High
Mm-hmm.
Tide
I
or
want to watch Tom Ross, or
seriously,
is that,
Tom
yeah,
Ross playing Infect. Mm.
yeah, just pour that right into my veins. Um, it was wonderful, and I was like, and then I started applying my professional
Well, what
stuff
did you
to
like?
it.
So, what
Yeah,
professionally? What do you do?
yeah, so I'm a video guy. I mean, I would say that just sort of generally. I've done everything. I used to shoot, I used to do editing. Now my career is more motion graphics. So
Mm.
I make TV commercials. I work for Sleep Number, the fancy mattress people.
Oh, I saw
So
their building when I was downtown.
yeah, I parked right by it. So I work for them, making their TV commercials, but doing the graphic side of things,
Oh, that's cool.
making stuff move and everything, doing phone animations and all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, so that's fun. But that's always what I've done is TV commercials and more motion graphics based ones. And then I just started kind of up saying, well, I'm back into Magic, and some of the graphics people are using are pretty sketch.
They're
Maybe
pretty
there,
okay.
there's an opportunity here for me to kind of flex my skills and get involved with some of these cool people. So I did that kind of in conjunction with starting my animation thing,
Hmm.
and that's really
Yeah,
where
because like
everything took off.
in the first few episodes of this show, when I first started putting it online, and like I know that like Jimmy and Josh used to do this with their early episodes of Command Zone as well, which is you had a free library of just like animated cards
I have it. Yeah,
and like
it's available.
yeah, and I just like me and EK just took that and we were like, what if we just
Yep.
slap this in the background while we're just talking and it's just something to
Yeah.
move over YouTube?
Yeah, that was such an amazing thing because
I know Prof did that too for a while, didn't he?
yeah, it seems like, and it's amazing where I see them. I'll see links to people starting new shows, and I'm like, oh, look, you're using Ponder in the background. Um, but yeah, I did all this animation, and I was kind of just hoarding it unintentionally, because I was getting paid to do some of it, and then that obviously went to the people who were commissioning me.
Sure.
But then I had personal projects that I'd done, and it got to be quite a big number. And then one day I was like, just put it all together and then let people have it, and it just blew up. Like people, it was really
It's like a
a good
gift to
thing.
every like starting content creator
Yeah,
to
I
just have a
just
pre-made package of just random animations you can just cycle through.
the love has been paid back 10 times for it. So I was super happy to do it. And now just, here's all your stuff. I put some project files. People want to know how to get into animating. It's not something I do as much, but when I do, I like try to make it a really show-stopping kind of a piece. And I do commissions sometimes. People will come in and say, "Hey," but I'm not really open, so sorry. Please don't message me. Just for the older friends who I've used to work with.
Oh, okay, good. I can
For
be grandfathered into that.
You can absolutely be grandfathered in if you need me to do something for you. But yeah, I really started. I used to post on Reddit and just kind of like it was fun. I would post on Friday and then I would go in and we would go to F&M and it'd be like, is Geoffrey at the top of the subreddit? Yeah, or Geoffrey's competing with some preview card from LSV or. So that was the fun thing we used to do for a while.
So, what did you do for coverage then?
Yeah, so I got messaged by Channel Fireball pretty much right after I started doing animations, because they used to like to put together an animated montage between the video blocks. So we would do a little bit of coverage, and if we needed to
Like the commercial
around,
breaks?
yeah, commercial break kind of thing, yeah, if we needed to show Twitch ads, that kind of stuff, we would do it out and back in. And they had a guy who was doing it, and he and I got to know each other, and he's like, I don't have time to do this. They should do you or hire you. So that's how it started, was me not going anywhere, but just making these little, it was like 4 or 5 animations in a cohesive set theme. And that was super cool because it was WotC official. So I got the original artwork files for the cards that I wanted. And I just got to say, okay, I want this one, this one, and this one. And they would literally get the artists and send me their Photoshop files. And I was like, this is insane. So yeah, and I'm sure they're still under NDA, so they're just locked away on my computer. But yeah, getting those high resolution
I
files
mean, people
was
don't realize
mind blowing.
when these guys get these paintings and stuff, we're talking like gigabytes and like
Huge
terabyte sized files of just
to go this big, but the painting files are
they're
staggering.
exactly like if you go to your like Photoshop thing and say like show me full size, and suddenly you're looking at like 1 inch is your whole monitor. It's like it's insane the the real resolution of these things.
Yeah, the DPI, the dots per inch. Yeah, so that was really cool. And then I wanted to go work for them, but they couldn't support it yet. So I then started going. They would pay me just a flat rate to go fly to the event. They cover my flight, obviously, and then a hotel and nice little per diem kicks. It was a great weekend. It was paid. I got a nice paid. It was not easy work because it was long days. But then I would sit with the producer of the show, and I would do all of the like collate the deck lists. I would make graphics to support them. So when we'd throw it to Luis and Marshall, and they go, "Let's take a look at this deck list," I would pull the deck lists up. So
then you'd
anything
do like
visual.
here's the whip of Erebos, and it's like low. There's a whip of Erebos. It's turning pretty.
It would and put it on screen. So yeah, that was really fun. That's how I got to know all the super cool coverage people like Marshall Sutcliffe and BDM and Luis, and people I still just talk to this day. I'm really fortunate to maintain a relationship with them. Great people.
I mean, you were real tight with like that whole group, and like James and Dennis, who were like just absolutely amazing, really really good people.
That came when then I just kind of kept at it. My current job was sort of crumbling. I was working at a failing, they were like an ad agency, and then they got bought and they kept changing what they were doing. So I was like getting paid full time and having like no work. So I was almost exclusively working for Channel Fireball. And finally we just made the use case, guys, we've got enough, can you guys just hire me on? And they're like, yep. So I went on, and then we got, Dennis and James to come on and do marketing with us. And yeah, for about 2 years, we really just went crazy and did all the marketing for Channel Fireball. It was really a fun time. It got more frustrating towards the end, but hey.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Stuff happened.
Right? Like, I mean, with love to CFB and to all my friends there, like their company got bought, and then when they get bought, weird things happen and people don't work there anymore.
Yeah, the pandemic was really, really hard, especially because of the event side of the company.
Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, this is a thing that I think all of us content creators and people who are like events driven learned is like, if there are no events, It's hard. Like, I think this, you see this
Really
with
hard.
SCG as well, which is like,
Yep.
hey, they're like, we can't support any of our writers anymore
We
because
can't
there's
do it.
no SCG cons that people are buying cards at or
Nope.
buying tickets to or whatever until we don't have a
Yeah.
revenue stream. And if I don't have a revenue stream, I don't have a way to pay you.
Exactly.
And it
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks, but it's also just like, if money's not coming in, money doesn't go out.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of love, and they're still maintain friendships with the people there. But it's it was just a wild time of life.
Yeah.
And then I transitioned back to doing TV commercials, but maintained Magic on on the side, and
Yeah.
that's around the time when the Paddingtons started happening.
Dude, yeah, well, that's the thing, though. That's such an important and healthy way to do things. It's like,
Hmm.
when your hobby is your job, it's not your hobby anymore.
Yeah.
And it's also not fun anymore.
Nope.
Because now everything you do is something you have to monetize or something you have to
Correct.
think about. Like, could I be turning this piece of time into money somehow?
Yes.
And then you can't just
100%.
like, it's not fun to just play anymore. I can't just like sit and brew decks or whatever. Cause like, oh,
Yeah.
what if I did this on stream? What if we streamed this thing? And then sometimes you're like, what if we didn't? What if we just like
Yeah.
hung out like we used to do? And
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, that felt good. And then you feel guilty also. And you're like,
I
oh.
know. It's such a catch-22 of like,
Yeah.
you really want to get to that place, but then there's a sacrifice when you do.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
when this is just something you're doing for funsies, then it's fun again.
yeah, yep, yep. So it's been, once I got kind of out of directly working for Magic officially, with the Magic IP officially, then I started creatively to kind of blossom again, like you said. And
Yeah.
that led me to some new ideas.
Yeah, like at the beginning of the year, 2023 or something. I don't know when you started that, but you basically said every day I will Photoshop Paddington into a
Yeah.
Magic card until I stop.
Beginning of 2022. Yeah.
It was so good. It was so ridiculous. I
It was
loved it so
it was
much.
just a meme, and
Yeah.
I've told the kind of origin story before, but somebody else was doing, I'm going to Photoshop Paddington into a movie, TV show, or a video game every day, and they were doing every day and like not taking weekends off,
Yeah.
and they had 200,000 followers. So I was like, and everyone would get 20,000 likes or minimum. And I was like, well, there's something there. I wasn't like clout chasing, but I thought that
It's fun.
clearly people like that. So what if I did it with Magic cards? So I did day one, and it was like, okay, it did pretty well. And I wasn't going to do a day two until I thought, what if I just really push the limits of this and see, people will either recoil in horror and that'll be it, or it'll go crazy. And so I did, a spinal, the surgical extraction with the spine literally being ripped out of the guy's back. And I put sweet, innocent Paddington just looking at that. And I thought, people are going to have a reaction one way or the other. And like almost as soon as I hit post, it just skyrocketed. And I mean, that one is still the best one that I did of the whole series, just in terms of engagement, but almost 10,000 likes and all that type of stuff. And so many people, hundreds of people following me, and all saying, we're here for the series. And so I went, okay, Geoffrey. And it was crazy because I did it almost the entire series on the day. Like I would have nothing for that day, and I would sit down and I'd go, what do I want to do today? And then I would find a card and do it and post it, and then boom, see if it blew up. It was wild. But kind of amazing too, because I have a huge problem with like staying on one creative project for a long time. I'm such a lightning bug. I always describe myself like that. Like I'll burn really bright on something, and then I'll blink out and I'll appear over here, and they're like, wait, but you were doing this. What about this? Did you finish it? And I'm like, nope, I'm over here. I'm there. I'm working on a song. Or I'm writing a movie. That other thing doesn't exist to me anymore. And then, bloop, and then I'm over here. It's like, but doing the series, I felt accountable. If I had stopped it instantly, people would have been mad, but like, I don't know anything to anybody. I was doing all this for free. So I could have walked away, but I felt that sense of accountability. I loved the sense of giving something back to the community, and just the love, it was like, I could feel it, especially when it would start to like go into other languages. I can't tell you, Shivam, that was like the best part for me, because I would wake up in the morning and I would check the check tweets, and
your comments and everything.
and I'd be like, oh wow, it's starting to be translated. And I since then globally I've heard from people all over the world who are like, I love it. I met someone just recently. I asked for some video game recommendations, and this guy suggested a video game, Subnautica, which I'm
that game is
playing.
terrifying.
I'm so scared. I'm like
it's
having dreams about it, and
that game
cry.
that game is messed up.
But I've also become obsessed with it, just like in the past week. But I messaged them. I love to do that. Like if you engage with something and we get a little rapport going, like I don't care how many followers you have, I'll talk to you, I'll follow you. I'm not like that, at all. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, thank you for this recommendation. I'm playing the hell out of this game. And he goes, wow, thank you. I have a little buddy, I'm going to mess it up. I think they're in Ecuador or maybe Brazil. And he said, we have an EDH group and we always share your whatever you make every day. I share it to my group. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. That's like, lovely. What? That's just so cool. People blast on their Discords. That was apparently the thing to do, is whatever the day's thing was.
I loved the one you did of Siege Rhino, for instance. Like the thing that's wild about this is like, because you're such a good artist and good at graphic design stuff, you make these things look friggin' seamless in like a horrifying way.
On there, yeah. Like I love doing the dragons and stuff.
Oh yeah, like when you turn them into Corvald or whatever. Mm-hmm. The one that like terrified me, and you did a lot of freaky ones.
Yeah.
The one that terrified me is, what the hell is that dredge creature? The uncommon with the big fish, and like you shoved Paddington deep into its throat.
Gurmag Angler. Yes.
Gurmag Angler.
I love Gurmag Angler
peeking out of the damn cave, and I'm like, this is terrifying. And the first thing in the morning, no.
Yep. I know. I love Gurmag Angler. Like that's my. I have like a few very weird pet cards that I'm like obsessed with, like Brushwag, and Fibblethip, and Gurmag Angler, and of course the 9/3 who's eating Yargle. Come on. I just gravitate towards the weird creatures. So the more I could work them into Paddington, it was
dude. Like, and the thing is, it's not like you just cut and paste. Like you actually had to spend time integrating these stupid frames into the artwork. Like I just finished reading. My son and I, when we do bedtime stories, I've been reading through the old 1960s Paddington books.
So like, wonderful. Those are
they're
amazing.
Really, really good and so weird. Good. But you've been like clipping from the movie, and you have to find like specific, like there was one of the like root, like the Selkie or whatever, the stupid thing is peeking out of the water, and then behind it you've got Paddington with just eyes angled exactly at the stupid Selkie, and I'm like, this is that is.
The more I could find them interacting with each other, the better they were received.
Or like what is that? What the hell is this one? The you did the saga. Of there was a saga you did of, I think, like Yawgmoth.
I did a couple of sagas.
There was one where it's just like Paddington's like black and white and red and just looks horrifyingly.
It's braids, the
resurrection of braids or whatever,
exploding ones. Yeah, I would just try to find an art style, and that's how I stumbled on Stasis, which is the one I'm the most known for of that series. And I was like, I want to find really, really weird abstract art style cards and then see if I can blend Paddington into them, because that's like, it became like a challenge to myself. Can I pull this off with Paddington? Like I did one with the line art, the Jeff Miracola one, where it was only, it was like a scroll looking piece of paper, and it was only the line art. It was one of the alt arts for one of the cards. I don't remember which card it was at all.
Oh yeah, it was like one of the D&D ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. And so, I was taking Paddington and like breaking him down into the like black and white parts of the face, and then trying to match the textures. And that's that challenge, and that's continued with my new series, The Magic of the Movies, is like trying to find some piece of like magic art that I can interact with the movie scene. And then that's the only step one. Then I have to color correct everything and add texture, like I'll add noise and just try to absolutely make it feel as though it's a still from a movie with the magic character. Yeah.
The thing that's wild though about those things is that they're like freaking JPEGs that you're doing. They're not JPEGs, rather they're GIFs. They're moving.
Yeah.
Like, well, some of them are.
Well, I don't know if I've done any moving ones in the animated ones, but yeah, or the movie ones. But yeah, it's really tough to get that feel. Even some of the movies
Oh,
have
wait, my mistake. What it means is you would post a clip of the movie that you're doing from, and then you would post the
yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
So
still just
to give
it's
the reference,
exactly.
yeah.
It's just Nutter Butters to me though, because like you make these things seem so seamless and so just
Oh,
it would
we're just
there's
watching
no
it.
reason for me to believe it wasn't there in the first place.
Hmm. Yeah, and I talked about it. I had a little I posted about it randomly about kind of my thoughts behind it, but there's this there in media studies there's this thing called intertextuality. I don't know if you
Mm,
saw me post about that. But when you call a piece of media a text, that's what you do if you're like a professor, you're writing your little,
yeah.
if you're a media studies person, you call a piece of media text. It can be anything, video game, show, movie. But intertextuality is when one thing calls to another thing. So like if I make a song that clearly references another song, that's what it is.
Yes.
So with magic, I try to find a piece of the magic art that kind of calls to the movie in some way, or it's not such a jump, because then your brain just like connects, you put the two pieces together. And
You did
I've even
one
had people say like, I can't look at this anymore without thinking of the Paddington or thinking of,
right,
whatever
exactly.
was in it. Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah, it's like
that's
you
what
did one of I think it was
I
like of Galta and like the little baby from Land Before Time or something like that.
oh,
And I'm just like, what the
that was the Dreadmaw,
yeah, Colossal Dread Mom.
the meme comment that they put in everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I was like looking at those, and I was going to make it the sharp tooth, because that would have been the obvious thing to do. But no, I just thought, no, I'll replace his mom, and then everybody will freak out. That's another thing that
Because
I
it's
get to
funny as
do, is
hell.
like, now that I have an audience, I can like try to shock them. Because like, here's the obvious thing: I could put Paddington as Gideon riding the dragon. But no, what if I made Paddington, or was it Obnixilis or whatever the giant demon that Gideon's riding in that one thing? Let's
Yes,
make Paddington be
the
the
demon.
huge thing, and it's like that will people will go, whoa,
I think I
what
think
did you do?
the one you did that just made me like stop and just like shout curses at your name was it was the one where uh One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or whatever, where you got
Yes.
like a Johnny peeking through, and it's
Hmm.
the famous, Jack Nicholson, "Here's Johnny,"
Yeah.
but you've got it as like a Johnny screaming, so it's,
Oh,
"Here's Johnny," and I'm like, "I hate you so much."
so
Oh,
funny.
it's
Yeah,
so
that was
painful.
that was
Oh
from
my
The
god.
Shining. You're really
The
close. I
Shining.
did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was another one. Another something. I can't remember who I can't even remember what I did for that one. That's the other thing. I
What did
forget
you
as soon
do?
as I.
Because your sound just went to crap.
Oh no, my sound.
Oh,
Oh.
no, okay, there it is. It's
Okay.
back. So
Might have
you
bumped
were
something.
yeah.
Sorry.
No worries, keep
Um.
going.
Here's a Johnny. I told this story, but it's really quick, and I'll tell it again. So when I was posting regularly on Reddit, I I would, I thought of myself as a fairly respected man about the Reddit community, which was a really stupid thing because Reddit is terrible, as we all know. Um, and so I told my friends, well, if you have an idea for some Reddit content, just tell me and I'll make it, because anything I post turns to gold and people are following me. And so my buddy goes, why don't you take The Shining and put a Johnny in the door, and it'll be, here's a Johnny. It was
God,
a
I hate
friend's
this.
idea. And I go, that's the best idea ever. So I did it, and it blew up, and then it got removed, and I got the evil little Reddit mail, blink, 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 waiting for you. And I'm like, okay, I open it up, and it goes, not only was it removed for low effort content, but you have a 3-day ban. And I was like,
What the hell?
the top post of all time at this time was Steve Shooter with your crossbow shooting the octopus that somebody made in 30 seconds. And I was like,
You've gotta be
that
kidding
was my
me, buddy.
one diva moment where I was like, I have been putting so much effort into all these animations, and I posted one thing that I thought was funny, and you guys are giving me a 3-day ban. And that was it. I never posted on Reddit again. That was the end of my Reddit career because of that. I
Dude,
just said, I don't need it. I don't need
it
it.
is not like when WotC moved over and they're like, "We're gonna be using Reddit instead of our forums and stuff." I'm like,
Oh, no,
"Guys,
you have to
you
have,
can't
like,
farm your
on
community
Twitter.
out like that.
Yeah, on Twitter you have some accountability. You can be a persona, but if you're gonna like start really getting followers, you're gonna have to be a human being. Like you cannot just be a little nameless Reddit username. You're going to have to either, maybe you don't even have to put your face out there, but you're going to at least have to be an accountable human being that people can access if you're going to start going somewhere. So as soon as I started posting on Twitter, I wasn't getting the top of the subreddit, but it was building. And over time, it's far surpassed anything I was doing over there. And nobody's a jerk, to use the polite term.
I wouldn't go that far. However,
no, I know, but I mean,
they're
when you post a
magnitudes
piece of,
less jerkish.
right, when you post a comment, let's say compare it to a YouTube video, your Twitter comments are not going to be your YouTube comments, right? Because you have to be a human being to post on Twitter generally. So
Generally,
that has been, I'm saying, it's like, to use the Subnautica reference, I'm in the safe shallows on Twitter, and then the deep nonsense is like that's why I haven't really done much with YouTube
it's
and
just
some of the other
Reddit.
ones.
Just
You're getting
like
into it.
Reddit just seems to be an incubator for a lot of just like kind of feedback driven anger, which is to
Yeah,
say, like, it just cycles into itself and cycles into itself
it
until you just
does.
get this like
Oh,
hate bomb that
it's
just kind of
so
charges out. And I'm like,
so bad.
what if I didn't? What
I
if I just
know.
didn't?
I mean,
Life is better.
that's what I actually said for my Twitter too. Like, not that I was really doing anything with, engaging anything, but I posted, I mean, this has been a year or more now. I posted and I said, I am not going to post one negative thing on my Twitter, which has been, it was hard to do, but I said, I started to tweet something, an opinion on whatever the latest MTG drama or whatever was. And I thought, A, this isn't going to change anything. And B, I really don't have a dog in this fight because I'm just some guy doing some things. So my opinion, yes, I have a following. Yes, I have a voice and I can affect change. But there's people that are doing that and are closer to the issue and are more effective at bringing that about. So what am I really adding? And it was at that moment where I just said, my Twitter in your feed is going to be a little oasis of positivity. And since then, you go back through, scratch back through, but I don't engage in anything negative on a global scale, on an MTG scale, on anything. And just, and that's why I don't even tweet that much. I tweet my stuff that I make, and I engage with people who are enjoying it, and I engage with people who are making other cool stuff or want to talk, and that's it. That's what I use Twitter for. And mental health wise, let me tell you, it's amazing when you
Let
just
me
don't.
tell you what I don't do.
Yeah, I know you get in on it, but hey, you've got
I do my
some
best to try
expected.
to
You're not
encourage
out here.
optimism and positivity.
You are, but you're not out here dragging. I mean, I said that. I knew you do a little bit of that, but you're not out here shooting for the low hanging fruit and dragging people through the mud or doing any of that stuff.
No, because it's just that's not worth it. It's not like
It's not
the
worth
older
it.
I get, the more I'm like, you know what,
Don't
man?
do
Like,
it. Yeah,
what are we here to do? We're here to hang out and have fun.
hang
We're
out.
here to just sit there. We're
Exactly.
talking about a game that we like playing.
Yeah.
What if we just liked playing it?
Yeah, exactly. Now, if something goes wrong, like people were mad about the Magic Fest or the Magic Con, people needed to voice their concerns about that. I would never say don't do that because, like, that's how some change gets affected. People voicing their issues when
Well, I mean,
things
that's
there,
different. Like
but
that's
just
different than just like I think this
100%.
guy's a jerk and let's drag him down and then poop
Yeah,
on him.
or if they put out a card that's too powerful, or they let's get mad because something's not balanced, and like it's just not worth it. It's not. It's really. I mean, if you have something to say, have a civil discussion about it. Like it's possible. So anyway,
Anyways, man, having a civil discussion about Magic cards feels counterintuitive to Magic cards.
it can be. It
But
can
I
be.
mean, that's what this podcast is for, right? Like the whole point
Hey,
of me
you're
doing this
casual.
is to just be like, yo, you know what? We like this stuff. The same reason I've got this in my Wheeler podcast is just because, like, hey, magic is fun and we like magic. It
It's
impacts
fun.
us in good and cool ways.
Mm-hmm.
Let's remember that sometimes. Like, it's
Yeah.
not always going to be shiny and happy. And there's definitely bad actors in the community. There's definitely bad things that happen. But
Yep.
that doesn't mean that that's the only thing we can focus on. We should
Mm-hmm.
also remember the bonds that we build, the communities that we build, the good times that we have. Because, like,
Totally.
if you don't, like I said early on, you can't just concede because they're winning. You got
I
to fight
know.
it out.
I know.
Same way, like
Yeah.
the battle to win optimism and happiness is just as strong as the battle for anything else, right? Like
100%. Yeah, and if you're like wanting to grow your presence in the community, it can be really tempting to shoot for like the bandwagoning and getting in on like people, like
but it
making
just
comments on
remember
stuff.
the
But you're
audience
building
that you
such a bad thing. Exactly.
exactly
You're attracting the wrong audience. And then
like
when
the
you do
audience that
get
you cultivate
somewhere,
is the audience that you have. And if
exactly.
you're cultivating an audience that is here because you're angry and poking at things and
Yep.
hating things and whatever, is that they're not going to be happy unless you continue doing that. And is that the
Yeah.
life you want to lead?
And if you ever, God forbid, you goof something up, you're done in a heartbeat, and you won't even get a chance to talk to people.
Yeah.
I I rarely goof up. I pride myself because I try to take very careful steps. I goofed up and offended an artist, which was the first time that had ever happened the other day, and I was able to very calmly say, "Here's what happened. Here's where I should have asked permission for this because it was a step in a different direction than I had done before." And I shouldn't, and I that was a mistake, and everybody went great, and it was over and done with within a day with no ill will lists on the parties, and we all moved on, But
Turns out being able to apologize is a pro tour
it's
move.
it's huge. You need to be able to be like a human being,
And
especially if
not
you're going to start
not
getting
just
to
like
a
the
larger
BS
audience
apology.
level.
It's you got to be sincere.
No, yeah, you
Own
have to
it.
say,
We make mistakes. We're humans.
lay
It's
it out.
fine.
Yep, we're all going to try new things. Like that's what content creation is. It's like trying to find new things. I mean,
Yeah.
who who thought people were going to care about me photoshopping a cartoon bear onto magic cards? Like that's weird, but people did because I was able to try new things and grow an audience that way. And now I have an audience of people who are like, Geoffrey, whatever you want to do, just do it. Just have fun,
when you
and
get that kind of carte blanche from your audience, it is
it's
the
so
best
fun.
feeling
This
because you're
really
like
is.
you can just live and explore and be
Yeah,
free, and it's
try
fun.
stuff. I'm working on a new thing now that I'm like, no spoilers, but I'm working on a new thing I'm going to put out, and I don't. It's not going to be a misstep, but I don't have no idea how it will be received. It may be like, that's kind of cool, or people may go, wow, that's really cool, and it could turn into a whole thing. So that having that
Look,
ability is
if
amazing.
you don't have thuds, you're not going to have home runs, right? So
Yeah,
you gotta try once in a while to just be like, well, that
yeah.
one didn't go. Next,
I saw a great quote on TikTok that said, "Give yourself the chance." And it was Greta Gerwig talking about becoming a director. She's a very fine actress and had been for years, and she said, "I want to start directing, but I don't think I have enough experience. I don't think I've spent enough time in the room." And she said, "You know what? I've got to give myself the chance." And you don't finish that sentence. You don't say give yourself the chance to fail or succeed. Just give yourself the
right?
chance to
Take
do
that
it.
step to do whatever. Let it
and
happen.
and then she directed Little Women, and now she's directing Barbie, which I'm assuming is going to be the biggest movie in the world. And so
Barbie looks
I want to see it.
bizarre. It
I'm all
looks
about
like
bizarre stuff.
I think it's going to be very I think it's really clever. Like the
Yeah.
trailers, I was like, this is surreal as hell.
Oh,
And
I
if
know.
like it's a movie that you look at and you're like, if this doesn't hit in the audience it's going for,
Yeah.
it is going to have a very long and healthy cult afterlife.
Oh, I know. Well, she's like very indie director. I mean, like she did
Yeah.
Lady Bird
And
and
like you
Little
saw her in
Women.
like Frances Ha and other I mean
I
she does like
know.
weird like she's not
So
weird, but does like very specific movies that hit a very specific
yeah,
niche.
it's like a Wes Anderson kind of a, like when you
Yeah.
see it, she's starting to develop a brand, which is so cool. So
Yeah, but
anyway,
Barbie is
all
gonna be
that to
like
say,
anyways, that is well and
thank you,
outside of this.
Greta, for that. That's one of my life mottos. Just give
And
yourself the
thank you,
chance.
Jeff, for joining me today. It's been
Oh,
lovely. It's been a
thank you.
great
Yeah,
conversation. I miss talking to you,
absolutely.
man. Like,
I know.
you're a cool dude, and I'm glad we've been friends for so long. And it's good to see you kind of poking your head back into the magic space again these
Yes,
days.
I'm really trying to get back, and having kids is a heck of a thing. It really knocks you down, and you
Sure does.
kind of go into survival mode. But my children are starting to become little people now, and not little helpless
They've moved out of the meatloaf
things.
phase.
They have. So yes, expect we're going to continue the Magic at the Movies series all the way through. And I'm trying more things, and I'm going to start doing more podcasts. And people, if you've invited me to go and play Magic with you on your show, I love it, and I'm going to start trying to schedule more of those. So I'm going to start getting back out there and
So if people wanted
doing
to
more and
find
more.
you and find your
Yes.
things, where could they go?
At LivingCardsMTG on Twitter is where you will find me all the time. You can DM me if you just have a comment about something I'm doing. If you have an idea, I don't dissuade people from making suggestions, or I love interacting with people. So please,
Sweet.
if you want to respond to a picture I make with an idea of your own, I'm all about starting conversations. So that's where you find me, at LivingCardsMTG on Twitter.
Awesome. And as always, my friends, you can find me at Gearboy Gears, and you can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are sold, or at Cool Stuff Inc. on Tuesdays, or at YouTube on Tuesdays. Thank you to my editor, EK. And remember, my friends, it is not magic without the gathering, and we will see you next time.